Growing up in a non-Christian home was interesting, to say the least. My dad grew up Catholic and my mom grew up Jewish, and both of them pretty much stopped practicing when they were in their early teens. And so they didn't really have an aspect of living for something, to please someone or something. And growing up, I never got the encouragement of, this is what you're living for, so go and pursue it and go and fight for this. So I got very involved in sports at a young age, and literally through my life, practice, hard work, and everything into being good at sports, and growing to the understanding of knowing that I can always be doing better at something, always working harder in practice or working harder at being a better shortstop or being a better pitcher and learning more pitches and being able to kick the soccer ball further as a goalie and hitting the ball harder as a volleyball player, and just walking through a life fully involved in sports. My parents have always been extremely supportive of me and have walked with me through all of this, continually going to tournaments with me, and just really paying for me to do all of these things, which most kids probably don't have the opportunity to do. And so when I was 10, I went to a Christian camp, and that was when I gave my life to Christ. Had no understanding of what I was doing or what it meant and how to go about living now, and so I just took it as, well, I live the same way, and I do the things that I was doing before. And so I continued on the path of excelling in sports and in school, because that was always, you couldn't play sports unless your grades were good. So when I was a junior in high school, still extremely involved in sports and just really trying to make my parents proud of how I did with sports in school. I went on a Christian retreat and finally realized, wow, there is so much more to live for. And there's a God who absolutely loves me more than any love I've ever experienced. And I get to live for him. I get to live on mission for his kingdom and for his will to be done in my life. And so I kind of started changing my lifestyle. I went to college at Florida Gulf Coast University down in the Fort Myers area to pursue my dream of being a college softball player, and went down there. And then my last practice of my first freshman semester, injured my back pretty badly, to where they told me I either couldn't play anymore or I had to have surgery. And so I just said, you know what, it's not worth back surgery to do this. And so little did I know that was God absolutely gripping my heart and showing me, this is what I want you to live for and nothing else. And so I got involved in my church down there and just started on this journey and kept walking. And yes, at times I walked the wrong way and walked to the right when he was telling me to walk to the left, but continued and was seeking out knowledge and wisdom in this area that I was not aware of, not close to, because I didn't know the Bible stories that people knew when they were growing up and such. And so at that point I sought out a mentor who is and has been such an incredible blessing in my life, and has walked with me when I've needed to walk and ran when I needed to run, and just gone to the pits with me and back, and has constantly encouraged me and challenged me to the point where I'm at now. I finished college and I was working at a clinical school for autistic children and children with pervasive developmental disorders. And a year after I had been doing that, it was actually the day that we were celebrating my grandfather's memorial. I found out that I had a grapefruit-sized tumor in my pancreas, and I started to walk through what that meant. I had fought through cancer with my grandfather, and then fought through it with my mom months after we found out about my grandfather, and then come to find out that I was dealing with this sickness as well. So we went through and talked to many specialists and doctors, and decided that I needed to have a pretty massive surgery a year ago in this past March. And they told me that it was a year-long recovery, and that they weren't sure how long it would take me to go back to full-time work. And so here I am. I was living down in Fort Myers at the time, and I moved back up to be with my parents and go through this surgery. And I had no clue what I was getting ready to experience, and had really only had my tonsils taken out before this. And so when they mean that you're going to be lying flat out like a dump truck hit you, you literally feel like a dump truck hit you from this surgery. And so anyways, I have it, and am trying to work through recovery from this surgery. And honestly, I fell into the deepest, darkest place that I've ever been in, meaning that I fell into a crazy amount of anxiety, depression, and just feeling that I had no hope, that my passions were gone, and that I couldn't go further. I couldn't move forward in this. And about 3 months after my surgery, I started seeking out a church in the area and a group to get plugged into. And I came to Impact and was encouraged by meeting people that were sold out to seeking the Lord. And I know that's what I wanted in my life. That's what I needed. And so I continued to come and continue to work through this depression and anxiety, and really fighting with doctors about going on medication or not going on medication, and just seeing that God is sovereign and that He has a crazy plan for our lives if we allow Him to do that. I had been having some heart issues, and I went through some tests, and they decided that I needed to have a pacemaker put in to kind of control my heart, because during one of the tests, my heart actually stopped for over 9 seconds. And it was a scare to everyone. I thought the doctor was kidding when he told me that I needed a pacemaker, because I'm 24. Let's be real, who at 24 has a pacemaker? So once again, God was showing me His sovereignty through this, and through the fact that I am a mere human, and that I think that I could have a plan for my life, yet His plan far exceeds anything that I could have ever thought of. And so now I am on the road to recovery again, still recovering from the past surgery, and walking through what it's like being sick and being ill, but absolutely having a Savior that far exceeds any of that, and that loves me and has crazy hopes and dreams for me. And so the moment that I stopped assuming that my life was nothing was when God absolutely showed me that it's something.